Hello, everyone. As Severin said, I'm your session moderator, Anthony Antolino. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer and Chief Marketing Officer at Delos. Today, we are exploring a wellness-based business, how to frame it, sell it, and live it. And this session is sponsored by Delos. All right, so with wellness as a hot topic in our industry, it presents an opportunity to create your business model with the right principles in mind. So today, we're going to discuss how to position the work you're doing around concepts of healthy living and wellness. We have 4 experts here to provide advice and share how they have successfully shaped their own businesses on the principles of wellness. So with that, I would like to introduce the panel. We have John Clancy, Executive Vice President of Residential at Crestron. We have Jan Vetrovsky, Founder and CEO at Head South. We have Kyle Steele, President and CEO of Global Wave Integration and Future Care Solutions Group. And Matt Emmy, Founder at One Button. Guys, thanks for joining today. It's great to be with everybody.
Hey, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah. All right. So guys, for everyone watching and listening, we will have a Q&A period at the end of the session where you will have an opportunity to ask myself and our panelists any questions that you might have. So I encourage everyone to not only hopefully take away helpful insights and knowledge from the session, but also some actions that you can take away and incorporate into your own businesses. And we encourage this to be a very collaborative and engaging discussion, both throughout the panel discussion itself, and then certainly at the end, we encourage lots of questions and interaction. So look forward to the Q&A period. Okay, so without further ado, guys, let's jump right in. So let's start with the big question. The big one is, what does wellness mean to you, and how do you incorporate it into your business? And perhaps you can give us a line or two about your business focus and where you're located, just for context for everybody watching. Okay, so Kyle, let's start with you.
First, thank you, Anthony, for allowing me to be on this panel. We started our wellness journey back around 2011. We're always looking for the latest, greatest in wellness technologies to support how we experience indoor environments in the modern age. And that really looks like optimizing rest, enhancing focus, reducing stress, alleviating allergies, and boosting energy. That journey led us to purchase a building in Burbank, California about 2 years ago, and we're just now in the final stages of wrapping up our wellness showroom.
Awesome. Matt, same for you. Tell us a little bit about your business focus, where you're located for context, and the all-important question, what does wellness mean to you, and how do you incorporate it into your business?
Yeah, so I'm here in our Brooklyn show space in New York. We also have an LA branch of our business, which my co-founder, Michael Isaac, runs. We've been operational for about 14 years, and our focus has always been on a high degree of integration and design. A lot of our clients are art curators, art galleries, and a lot of our architects are very premier and sensitive to the type of technology that we're putting in the space. So we were always angled really well to kind of step gently into this wellness space because we're always very mindful of the environment. And ultimately, that's what wellness means to us, is a mindfulness of your environment. And as far as how we're kind of adding this product and offering to our current set of movies, music, lighting control, I really think about it as clean air, clean water, and adaptable lighting. And we've really stepped deeply into the latter and have built one of the best Ketra show space experiences that I think there is available. And that's really what we lead with in terms of our wellness discussions.
That's terrific. Seeing is believing for a lot of people. So the fact that you guys have done such an extraordinary job building out the showcase or the showroom is extraordinary. We've seen that once people experience it, they can't unsee it and unhear it once they learn about it. So that's awesome. That's awesome. John, same, over to you.
So I'm here in the New York area, actually at Crestron's headquarters in New Jersey. I am responsible for running Crestron's residential business unit globally, and I did spend 25 years as an integrator prior to coming here. So look, health and wellness, we're seeing more and more demand from our customers, our dealers, the integrators, as well as end users who call us and ask about, where do I begin? What do I ask for? What do I ask my integrator for? So absolutely, this is front of mind for everyone right now.
Awesome. Jan, last but certainly not least.
Hi, my name is Jan Vetrovsky. I'm the owner of Head South, based in sunny South Florida. I've been in business almost 40 years now, and I got involved in the wellness sector as a technology consultant with this small company, actually. Delos, not a small company. The people that developed the well building standard, the IWBI, and everything else around the wellness narrative for the CI channel. When it comes to my business and my business focus currently associated with the wellness narrative, we are using it as a Trojan horse in the meetings that we're meeting with new people to talk about health, well-being, to drive the relationships and the sales, and adding it as the front of our business model. It's gotten us a lot of press and a lot of attention on a nationwide basis, and we're happy to be part of the Delos team.
Awesome. Thanks, Jan. All right, I want to go to John. John, kind of building off of this first big question, how do you see, from a Crestron perspective, how do you see wellness as a business driver now, right? Which is, we're in this, still very much in this acute phase of a pandemic and a crisis. But how do you see wellness as a business driver now, and then more importantly, after the COVID-19 pandemic recedes, and hopefully we all start to get back to a post-COVID, business cadence?
Well, look, I think obviously the pandemic has put health and wellness front of mind for everyone. And I honestly, I think it'll be a long time before we see that wane. And I do believe also that this is something that we have to talk about, right? As a former integrator, I mean, this is something that we are responsible for, the education of our customers and potential customers to let them know what's available, what's possible out there, right? As well as provide those solutions, right? So these are the things that we're working on, making that role easier for our dealers, for our dealer integrators, which is why I think today's discussion is so important, right? How do we get out there further, right? How do we help our direct customers help their customers, right? How do we make it easier for them? How do we deliver a fantastic experience and still provide those benefits of health and wellness in the home? And that's really where we're focused these days.
I think you said something that really is key, and that is we have to be talking about it. We have to have the conversation. We have to bring it to the foreground. So that leads me to my next question. And Matt, this one's for you. You guys work on some incredibly high-profile projects in New York and in LA. So how do you introduce new technologies to your clients, and how do you involve wellness into the conversation? And then how receptive are they when you start talking about wellness?
Yeah, similar to Jan, we really lead with it in terms of it and utilize it as a differentiator, because there's other AV integrators you might go to, but if we're exposing somebody to circadian lighting for the first time, we're talking to them about the mindfulness of the experience that they're going to have in their space, as opposed to just talking about the size of the TV we want to put somewhere. It really sets the conversation that they have with us apart. And similar to that, we're really leading in using circadian or adaptive lighting as the forepeak of that conversation. So we'll talk about the basics, shades, control system, keypads, and then I'll open the conversation around adaptive lighting and talking about the benefits. And hopefully we'll either do a virtual or an in-person showroom experience. Is about 20 minutes, and we go through all the different scenes. You go through the cycle of the day. We can show natural and architectural light in parity, out of parity, so they really get a sense of what adaptive lighting can do and how it will impact their day and how it will impact their experience in the space. From there, that really gives me an indication, okay, is this fertile ground to keep talking about clean air, clean water, water filtration products? Because if they really key onto that and catch us something they're heavily interested in, then we can continue that conversation and go down that path further. So we really use the lighting conversation to gauge how much further we want to push down that path, but then also really use it as a strong differentiator. And yeah, so far, our conversion rate on Catch has actually been very high. The only projects we're not doing it on or are projects where the lighting fixtures were already selected and partially installed, or people were just kind of very price sensitive, but for the most part on our new projects that are coming up, very high closing ratio with doing Ketra somewhere, if not in a lot of key areas. And I think people, as we continue to the conversation, are very interested in thinking about the house in this way. So I think every single conversation we have with a builder, an architect, a client will revolve now less around the product and the functionality and more about what their experience is going to be like in it and how we can improve their restfulness, their mindfulness, their energy, and quality of life across the board.
That's awesome. So I want to stay with you for a minute because I want to expand on something that you mentioned when we were preparing for the panel. And being that there are so many people involved in a project, from electricians to HVAC technicians, what have you, how do you convince your customer that the integrator should own all aspects of the project? And is understanding wellness, is understanding the wellness aspect a factor or a key driver in that decision tree?
Yeah, it certainly expands on that. And I mean, the decision is fairly straightforward. It's like you want one point of contact for if anything goes wrong, which is the same argument we use for why you wouldn't want to, maybe use a third-party shade integrator. Because then if something breaks, you have to call both of us and we have to sit around and figure out whose problem it is and how we, are going to reconcile the differences between us. You let us take care of everything. We're managing and owning everything. But the real differentiator between us and, say, the plumber on the site is once the plumber's done, he's going to leave. You're never going to call him again. You're going to have a long, ongoing relationship with us. We're hopefully going to build your next house and your next house with you, which we've done with a number of our clients. So we're here to support your experience in the product through perpetuity. And that just is what kind of drives the conversation. You should allow us to own as many elements in the home as possible because you want to have ongoing relationships and support relationships with as few people as possible to really simplify the process for yourself and your family for maintenance. So really it just kind of makes sense because we're the ones ultimately owning the responsibility for the experience at the end of the day. And the end of the day means, tomorrow night, the next night, so on and so forth, well into the future. And that's where it becomes really important for people to understand that we're not just dropping the stuff off and leaving. It's evolving, getting updated, and continues to add value as even software features get added that are going to make these experiences for you better over time.
Right. That's really, I think, helpful, especially as more and more new aspects of new terminology and what have you, like wellness and all of the key attributes and aspects of what wellness means come into the home. I think it's helpful for all of the other integrators out there watching to understand that they can maintain that customer engagement and that sense of responsibility. So I appreciate that. Jan, I'm going to go over to you. Look, you've been at the forefront of, as an integrator, focused on wellness for several years, right? Really kind of driving the front edge of this thing. For integrators in the room and watching, how do they get started? Give them 3 steps to take in order to jump into the wellness sector.
Okay, thanks. Great question. So suggestion number 1 is learn your terminology. We as integrators are the people that need to educate our clients on the different aspects, if you want to call it pillars of wellness: air, lighting, and water. I guess a 4th could be comfort. And just understanding the different lingo, such as particulate matter when it comes to air quality, different toxins that might be in the water, lighting, understanding circadian rhythm and being able to give the narrative and use different comparisons so people get it. I talk about people and their iPhones and the nighttime settings and ask them if they really understand what that is and why it's in their phone, to help them about understanding about sleep and the importance of sleep when it comes to the wellness narrative. So I think when it comes down to talking and understanding the lingo. That's one very important thing to do. It also gives you credibility because you might be interacting with their air conditioning contractor or their plumber or the other, their lighting designer to bring these different things in. So you can't come across as ignorant to the different lingo that's important to have those conversations. Next thing would be marketing and taking your brand and bringing the wellness narrative and putting it on top of your brand, and then going out using either a PR firm or a local marketing company or somebody that you might use to help you get publicity. And since wellness is such a hot topic right now, and health and well-being associated with COVID, which is on everybody's mind, positioning yourself as the brand within the marketplace and the industry leader in your marketplace, that you're the go-to guy. And I've had enormous success at that on a nationwide basis and also on a local basis of publicizing my brand and my company associated with being the wellness guys in town. Third is social media. And social media is a part of marketing, but also we at least have 2 posts a day, if not more, on social media, and using this wellness narrative to bring to light and to hit as many different people as possible and make as many impressions as we possibly can. Also, my company uniforms. I have printed out T-shirts and hats and such that all of my employees wear that talk about integration and purification and health. That's big, bold, right on their shirt. If not anything, it sparks interests in the customers and people that they run into of, oh, what is that all about? So those are 3 different really simple things to touch upon that are important in taking your brand and bringing it into the wellness story.
Thanks, Jan. I mean, I think that's super helpful. And one of the things that you said, I think is key in all markets, right? Wellness before the pandemic, wellness was, it was a nice to have. I think a lot of people were leaning into it and wanting to, live better and healthier. But it's now really just become a must-have, right? So the more educated and up the curve you can get, and it doesn't take a very long time, but you do want to take the time to become educated so you can speak as an expert on it. It is definitely something that everyone is looking to incorporate as their starting point. So I think that's important.
As you know, I got involved in this in the beginning of it with Delos, and it was a luxury product. And one of the things that you need to stress to everybody is it's no longer a luxury product. It's a product for everybody. And there are solutions and products to hit all different demographics, not just the luxury sector. We're hitting MDUs with developers to just, developers are looking for a new narrative to use to sell their product. So even at the lower price point of having a basic water filter, having basic air purifications, and just a couple of rooms that have lighting associated with it, and doing the circadian rhythm, even at the bottom of the market, not the Ketra market, but at the bottom and doing tunable white lighting. There's products for everybody at all different price points. And I think that that's something that needs to be stressed as integrators and educators, that it's not a luxury product. It is a product for everybody, and everybody should have access to these solutions.
Yeah, it's
Jen,
right, not a privilege. Yeah,
hit
exactly.
on a point that, I did kind of want to echo that sentiment. We had approached a number of developers a couple of years ago about integrating, our standard core technologies, sound systems, AV pre-wire, and we never found inroads into any of the developers. They just want to sell a box and kind of get out. We're just in some preliminary conversations right now, and now we're feeling like a pull from the developers. Developers, I think, are all starting to recognize that this is going to be a very short window, a unique differentiator for them, and then a detractor. If they don't have it, people are going to kind of write them off the list.
Yeah.
So we're now seeing developers be very interested in engaging. So I think wellness might be the finally the way we as technology integrators get more involved into larger scale developments.
Right. And the developers are looking for the narrative. You know, as sad as it might seem, they really don't care about who the customer is. They just want to sell their real estate. And as integrators, it's another way, not to take away from the whole wellness narrative, it's another way of establishing these relationships with developers, and then also coming up with different upgrade packages of the other solutions that we have to offer and the wellness other packages, because you want to get the developers to have it included, not as an upgrade. So no matter what price point is going to be the right thing for the developer to do that. And you've got to stress and ask the question, how much does the developer spend on marketing to sell each unit in their project, and make this part of the marketing budget, not so much the toilets and sink budget, but the marketing budget. It's very much like selling other things that we sell. We try to stress to architects and interior designers, we want to pull things out of the construction budget and put it into the FF&E budget so that it becomes more palatable to what you're, bringing to the table.
Spot on. And I like the idea of moving it even out of the FF&E and into the marketing budget, because the marketing spend on these multifamily projects and across the assets in general, from a portfolio perspective, is significant. And the cost base for, incorporating wellness it's a de minimis amount relative to the marketing spend and what have you. So when budgets are tight and they're counting screws, we all understand that, but there is a more advantageous way in, and the value proposition and the differentiation that they pick up as a result is profound, and that hits their bottom line, right? So that's what is going to resonate with them. So great points, guys. Kyle, over to you. How to look at your Global Wave integration website. And you don't actually come out and say, like, we do wellness per se, right? So what are the different triggers for selling wellness for you guys? And what lets you know that a client will want strong principles of wellness built into their project?
Right. Well, you mentioned the website. I'm extremely proud of the work Global Wave Integration has done. I'm not extremely proud of our website. Before this year, we're 100% word of mouth. And we're actually in the process of kind of rebranding. And we're really going to center around wellness, to Jan and Matt's point. For example, we just finished a $24 million spec home, where it's the first time a builder in LA approached us asking for a wellness spec. So there's definitely traction there. So our website's going to be geared towards that. If you do go to the website right now, there is one case study. We're asked to do like a wellness article. And we went to one client. It was centered around lighting. So Trent Resner was grateful enough to do an interview with us to really talk about lighting in his rehearsal space and recording space. Because without lighting, he cannot get his creative juices flowing. He can't record. There's no workflow if lighting isn't just dialed in specific scenes for what he's doing. So we are grateful. We have one case study, but more to follow. We really want the website and what we kind of offer to our clients. It's really educating them about biophilic spaces and what we can do, bringing like those natural elements into the home and what that does. Lighting, as everyone's been talking about, that's a huge one and low hanging fruit. Soundscapes and acoustics, air and water purification. And now with COVID, immersive activity spaces. We've done a lot of Peloton rooms, for example, recently. So I think these are all things that are just now coming to market. And in terms of user interface for our showroom, the best user interface is one you can use with your eyes closed. So it could be debatable that voice control could be another feature of wellness. It's a touch-free interface. So we have Josh AI communicating with Crestron, for example, in our showroom. And we love bringing clients in because they're experiencing these things for the first time. It's not so much about the technology, but about the experience and the solutions we provide. We're just now playing with indoor air quality, taking our sensors and taking that data and putting it in our dashboard to give it meaningful interventions. So if the air quality is bad, maybe that should kick on the air. So stuff like that, we're really playing in our own showroom. And like you mentioned earlier, it's all about that experience, getting people in here so they can witness that interaction, understand what wellness is about.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, John, over to you. So as wellness becomes more of a fourth pillar for your business, how are you guys adapting? And how are you training and empowering dealers to be successful in selling wellness?
So look, I think we all touched on it in a way, right? Our job is to deliver, valuable solutions and valuable partnerships like ours with Delos to our dealers and end customers, right? And make that easy, make that repeatable, make that profitable for our dealers, but also deliver something that is valuable to the end users, right? This is, as we've said all afternoon so far on this call, this is front of mind for everyone, right? No one is not thinking about this, right? This is about health and wellness for my family. I'm building my home. How do I deliver the best possible solutions, right? And so for us to really focus on that, make that really easy for our dealers, make it a really valuable solution for our end customers and our dealers, right? But really focus on partnerships like what we have with Delos. And again, that repeatability, that reliability of a valuable solution is really where us as manufacturers have to be responsible, and that's where we're focused.
Awesome. Great insights there. And one more question for you.
Sure.
Maybe, just maybe, you can give us some hints about what's next for Crestron.
Well, they are items that we have discussed today. We do have some upcoming announcements on some new products, and they will fit exactly within the things that we are talking about today and enhance health and wellness in the home, and really focus on, again, making that easy, but delivering a very high quality experience to our customers, and that's really all I'm prepared to say right now. But that's where we're headed.
All right, that's good. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but have a little fun and give people a little tease of what they can expect. So guys, one last question. I want to do a quick speed round, right? So the question for everybody, and we'll just go literally one by one. This is a group of integrators that are dialed in, trying to learn something about how to take wellness into their business, right? We've shared good insights from a very diverse perspective from each of you. Give everyone one piece of actionable advice that when they exit this video chat today, they can incorporate into their business. One piece of advice. We're having a drink, ran into somebody. What's the one piece of advice? Jan, you're up.
Jump in the pool on the wellness narrative. It's the hottest topic right now. If you don't, you're going to miss the boat. I know this might sound horrible. Capitalize off of COVID and everybody's awareness of health and well-being inside.
Kyle, same question.
Low-hanging fruit is just air and water purification systems. I mean, that's an easy sell, and it's a real need. And lighting, like understand daylighting, circadian rhythm, natural lighting, color temperatures. To me, that's a low-hanging fruit where you can just jump into the business and start offering that day one in terms of wellness.
Awesome. Matt.
They say in Google, dog food it, which is to say, get it for yourself. Put it in a showroom, put it in your home, drive your spouse crazy with all the experimentations that you're doing, or make them really happy because they're going to get the benefits of the cleaner, healthier spaces. So this might be one of the few products you can bring home where your housing partner might not be terrified or intimidated. It's something that is more widely appreciable, but we learned so much in building out the showroom and the show space ourselves, and in living with it, and then me adapting it based on users and of the space, our employees and visitors to the space responding to it. So there's no better way to get into anything than to just develop it yourself and make it your own. There's so much here that we've captured that is part of the core of ourselves, and so you're taking this new technology and then combining it with things that make you and your firm unique.
Awesome. And John?
It basically aligns to what Matt, Kyle, and Jana just said in a way, in the sense that do all of those things, of course, but don't be afraid to bring it up. Don't be afraid to talk about it with your customer, right? The worst they can say is no thanks. Because I think that there's still some trepidation about how far I should bring this, right? Yeah, maybe this customer isn't really into that or whatever. Whatever the situation is, don't be afraid to talk about it. I think by bringing it up, you've now exposed an opportunity that may not have come up otherwise.
Yeah, and I'm going to build off of everything that you guys said and just put a punctuation mark on it. And that is to say, there is a good, better, best type of framework here. It does not need to be the most technologically advanced, the most software-driven, complicated solution to bring home wellness into your customer's residence, whether it's their first, second, third, or fourth residence. There is an analog way to incorporate air products, water products, et cetera, as a baseline, right? And a lot of people are going to be very, very open and receptive to that, whether it's for the primary residence or for, a pied-à-terre somewhere or something in between. So yes, bring it up. Yes, it can be fast and easy and minimally disruptive, right? If somebody's living in their house, holed up somewhere, and they want to improve the indoor environment, but they don't want to go through a lot of, construction disruption, it's fully understandable, right? There's still a way to incorporate wellness into their home. So as John said, raise the question. Don't be intimidated. Don't think that it takes a very comprehensive and full suite of technology and software and multiple apps, handshaking, and all of this type of thing. That's just not the case. We can do that too, right? By bringing it all into a fully automated environment. But you can certainly walk before you run, or crawl before you run is probably an even better way to say it. So, okay. So with that, I want to thank the panel, John, Kyle, Matt, Jan, thank you guys. I think this has been a fantastic discussion. Again, great insights to share with your peers. I think this will go a long, long way. Hopefully everyone watching has gotten a lot out of it.